All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the hearing to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory and the home of the traditional lands of the Ojibwe, the Cree, Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Ron Merritt. I'll be your chairperson this afternoon. Joining us via Zoom is panel member Diane Knight and Mr. Jerry Arnell. Our recording secretary is Jason Robertson, and our assessor from the city of Winnipeg is Jennifer Martins. We'll be hearing an application for revision of the assessment roll according to the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we'll limit discussions to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anybody speaking in these matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The board is appointed annually by City Council and is independent of it, along with the city administration. We make our decisions based on the evidence provided at this hearing and issue a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included in the board's order. In respect to the hearing this afternoon, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then it'll be the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket this afternoon. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. This afternoon, we'll be hearing just one item, which is number 2 on the docket. We'll ask our secretary to swear in Mr. Lyle Rack and the assessor. Mr. Robertson.
Ms. Martins, please state your full name.
Jennifer Suzanne Martins.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do so affirm.
Thank you. Mr. Rack, please state your full name.
Lyle Rack.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Martins, you have deleted the docket down to 1, so we're going to deal with the only one we have on the docket, which is 2609 Portage Avenue. So you may take us through this property. Ms. Martins, the floor is yours.
Thank you. This is file number 22-3762. This is roll number 0707352900. The address is 2609 Portage Avenue. For the roll year 2023, with a reference date of April 1st, 2021, the assessed value is $3,626,000. We're looking at a one-story building with 6 premises. It was built in 1980 with a wall height of 12 feet. The land area is 27,913 square feet, and the plan area is 16,528 square feet. We look on page 4. We have the workup. We have rents from $16.03 to $17.31, which gives us a potential rent of $267,199. to that, we have applied a 4% vacancy, which gives us an effective gross income of $256,511. We have applied 3% for the expenses and a shortfall of $9 per square foot, giving us a net operating income of $242,941. We've applied a 6.7% cap rate, giving us our estimated value of $3,626,000. Now, if we go to page 9, we have the information from the income and expense mailer that was sent to us. And it shows that the rents are all net and that they range from $17 a square foot to $28 a square foot. And on page 11, we have the pictures. The bottom picture is just the map showing that this is on Portage Avenue near Moray. And we have an overhead picture just showing the property on the building on the property. And we have at the very top a screenshot of the front of the building, a drive-by photo. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rack, questions of the assessor?
Yes, could you turn to page 8? And on page 8, that's the income and expense mailer with the income and expenses. We didn't agree. The box that says gross has been checked off for income type.
Yes. On that page, it says gross. And on page 9, where it shows the individual leases, it says net.
Okay, now on page 8, because that's what I'm asking about page 8, as you'll see, they have a rent income of $199,750, and the total expenses are $109,069.79. So they didn't fill this out properly. I guess I couldn't ask you that question because they never subtracted it. Okay, that's my question, Mr. Chairman.
I thank you. Ms. Knight?
Did you contact the client to see if it was gross or net, which was correct?
No, I didn't. I was looking at the rents that they have on page 9.
Right.
And looking at the rents that they have on page 9 compared to the rents that we have applied, even if they were gross rents, the adjustments that we would make would be somewhat similar to what we are applying.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Arnell?
No questions.
I just have one. Jennifer, there was a sale on the property, 2021. Supposedly it's April the 1st. It's for $3 million. Investigate the sale at all?
No, I did not.
All right. I thank you. Mr. Rack, your presentation, sir.
Sure. You can go to page 1. We'll start at page 1. The assessor provided the picture of the strip mall, and you can see it's assessed at $3,626,000. The assessor stated. Page 2 is the workup from the assessment department's website. Page 3 is the income and expense mailer that was submitted by request to the city. You can see that he paid $3 million for the property. It was an arm's length transaction. You'll see that 0.5 was an appraisal. There was an appraisal. The appraisal was at $2,600,000. Property characteristics at the bottom, it's office retail, and he said it was in fair condition. So it was purchased April 1st, which is the valuation date, 2021, for $3 million. It was appraised at $2,600,000. And so page 4 just shows what the interest rate was and the financing. So if you go down to page 5, see it's gross rents, and I went over the income expense mailer when it was submitted. They always clients always send them to me, and I told her that she didn't fill it out correctly. She refilled it out and resubmitted it, and this is what was resubmitted. As you saw, the assessors had the first copy. I don't know how they would get the second copy into the system, but it's not there. So you'll see that the actual gross income has gone up tremendously, because that's the proper way to do it. You know, the net she was putting down was for the rents. So that's why on her income expense bill, the rent's just so low. I mean, the total income was like $199,750. Now that she's corrected it how she's supposed to fill it out, the rent's now $345,271. It was checked off at gross. The lady who fills this out had the wrong idea on how to fill it out. So they are gross rents. So not everything is included. It's not a net rent. So it is a gross rent. So if you take all the expenses, $109,069, you're getting a potential net operating income of $236,201. So if you go down to bottom of page 6, put the information that the owner got these rents because they bought the property with the leases in place. They got that information so they could fill it out. And if you go to page, wrong numbers. Let's go to the next page with my income workup. You'll see that I'm using the actual at $14.47 a square foot. Applying the department's parameters and cap rate, I'm getting a value of $3,195,000, which the owner did pretty good, paying $3 million for it. Based on those rates, I don't know if the cap rate he used to buy it was the same. Anyways, I'm looking at $3,195,000, so $195,000 over what he paid for it. That's for the income expense mailer. So now you have to ask the question of whether or not 1447 is actually at market for the building. Those are the rents in place. So I've got some evidence. So this is for 957 Portage Avenue, which is page 7. And this is a brief that was submitted for 2023 appeal for 957 Portage. And you'll see the rent comparables that the assessor is using goes from $12 up to $14.37. You keep paging down, you'll see another property for the appeal, 1054 Portage, which is actually a strip mall. Parking similar to the subject property, that was at $12. Release signed in April 1st, 2020. That was for the bridal salon, the end unit. That's for a different property. And then you keep going down that same property. Afterglow Tanning Studios, they're paying $12.50 in that mall. And if you keep scrolling down that same page, you'll see the evidence for 3096 Portage Avenue, which Jennifer basically represented the city for. And you'll see the properties that she's included, the 1350-75 Portage at $10. And then she went to Ness, St. Anne's, and Pache. And again, the highest number is $14.71. So with those two briefs and the comparables I'm showing, is basically the actual rent at $14.47 is at market for that building. And basically, I've used the actuals, which increases the value from what he paid April 1st by $195,000. So I'm asking the board to reduce the value of the property based on the sale and based on the income expense mailer to $3,195,000. Thank you.
Mr. Rack, according to my notes here, I thought you were going to request $2,600,000 or something like that. So it's $3,195,000.
Yeah, that's on page 6. It was purchased for $3 million, appraised at 2.6, and based on the income expense mailer, I'm looking at $3,195,000. So actually, $195,000 over what he paid for it, based on the income expense mailer.
All right, I thank you, Ms. Martins. Questions of Mr. Rack?
Yes. And when you're looking at your comparables, did you take into consideration the wall height or the effective year built of your comparables?
No, wall height doesn't really make any difference at all. If you're talking about 10 or 12 feet, they're basically the same type of properties. The strip mall, As far as effective year goes, as far as the year built, it doesn't show effective year on the comparables. It just shows the year was built. And if you look at the comparables, they're nice buildings. Like, they've obviously been renovated and well kept over the years.
I'm sorry, that didn't answer my question. Did you take the year built into consideration when you were looking at your comparables and finding the rents that support the $14 a square foot?
I answered that question. It doesn't matter the year was built. It's a condition of the building and the rents that have been achieved. As I said, if you look at the comparables, the pictures I have, the buildings are, the two pictures are just as nice as the subject property.
Okay. Did you look at the neighborhood of your comparables in relation to the subject property?
They're all in Portage Avenue, and they were comparables that you used were for a similar type property. So
I'm sorry. Are we talking about the other property, or are we talking about 2609 Portage Avenue? Because this one I considered significantly different from the other property that we were looking at, considering it's the age it was built and the quality of construction due to being a much newer building.
As I said before, if you look at the pictures, my comparables, they're nicely renovated buildings. In my opinion, they're similar to the subject property.
Thank you.
Would demand the rent that is indicated.
I thank you. Ms. Knight, questions of Mr.
Yeah,
Rack?
I'm just looking at that expense mailer. So if she said her gross rent is $345,271, but you're using her NOI as the net operating as her gross rent on your calculations, why would that be?
No, I'm using, on my calculations, I'm using 236,201.
And that was her NOI on her mailer that you concluded in your presentation.
Correct. That's how the city does it. The only other expenses that are applied to it is the 3%, which is applied to every property because those are non-recoverable expenses when you sell a property.
Mm-hmm.
That's a standard 3%. Otherwise, I'm using the vacancy at 4%, and I'm using the shortfall, which the city uses, and the 6.7% capitalization rate.
Okay,
exactly
thank
what
you.
the city is using.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Arnell?
No, so just to have this correct, the only difference really is in your total rent package, correct? Other than that, you're in agreement with the assessor.
That's correct. Everything else I agree with: the vacancy, the expenses, the shortfall, and the cap rate. I'm just using the actual rents and then looking at the actual rent to see if it is at market, and that's with the leases. That was how the property was purchased with those leases in place. And you can see by the comparables, they're directly in line with what's out there.
That's all I had. Thanks.
I thank you. Summation, either party?
No, thank you.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Rack, thank you for your presentation. You'll get the results very soon. So thank you and have a good day. Jennifer, thank you very kindly for your presentation.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
Thanks. You as well.
Okay, we've heard all the items scheduled. This hearing is now adjourned. Thank you.